Kaylee, did you get a message?
I did. You're set.
Okay, perfect. All right. We'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending the Grad Slam 2021 information session. Today's session is going to be facilitated by myself. My name is Annabelle Ortiz. I'm the program coordinator for the graduate division, and Dr. Kaylee Anderson Natali. She's the director of professional development programs, also for the graduate division. Throughout the presentation, if you have questions, please either unmute yourself or enter them in the chat. Thank you. All right, so let's start with what is Grad Slam. Grad Slam is really a UC-wide annual public speaking competition. It challenges graduate students to communicate research to a general audience in 3 minutes or less. So it's quite challenging. There are 3 stages to this competition. There's semifinals. So after you apply, you move on to semifinals. Then we have the UCI campus finals, and finally the UC system finals. And for the system finals, each UC campus selects one person to compete for the title and for cash awards. And that is going to take place sometime in May of 2021. The details are pending, but anybody that signs up will receive the appropriate information. So I participate in Grad Slam. For all students, whether you make it to campus finals or the UC system finals, this is an opportunity for professional development. It's an opportunity for you to expand your CV or your resume. It's also a forum to practice public speaking, which is a very important skill to have in any industry, and presenting your research to a general audience. We recommend that through this competition, you don't use a lot of jargon. So it's really great for that practice, just to be able to communicate your research to someone that's not necessarily in your field. For those that do move on to campus finals, you have the potential of winning awards. So this year we're providing awards anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000. You also have an opportunity to meet with a coaching, like a public speaking coach for one-on-one sessions, networking opportunities, and of course, if you move on to the UCI campus finals, you have the potential of winning the Grad Slam Championship.
And just to add to that, in terms of like talking about your research, one of the things that's really nice about this is it really challenges you to think about your research and to talk about your research in a way that isn't often valued in academia or expected in academia. And of course, that's always just a good exercise in terms of getting your research out to people. If you have interests in non-academic jobs, it can also be very valuable there. And of course, within the academy, it's always good to be able to communicate your research in a variety of ways.
Yes, thank you, Kaylee. So who should apply? Our application system is actually we've simplified it quite a bit. This competition is open to all graduate students from all disciplines and in all fields of research. So we encourage all of you to apply. You must be enrolled for winter quarter 2021 and spring quarter 2021. In the past, for the application form, we've asked that you submit a video, and we've eliminated that option for this year. So we just need an abstract and some basic information.
And just one other thing, you will need to be present during the winter quarter in Irvine for a few different things that we'll go over, but just another thing about eligibility.
Yes. So we want to take some time to talk through the details about what UC semifinals or what that's going to look like this year. In the past, it's been a full day event where you come in, you present in front of the judges, and then the judges do the scoring on site. This year, we're changing that format due to COVID. So the first deadline that you should be aware of is the application deadline. That's going to come up on January 13th. That's when you should submit your application by. And we're going to be making acceptance on a rolling basis. That basically means that if you submit early, then we can tell you, oh, hey, congratulations, you made it through semifinals, and this is what you need to prepare for your pitch. That's important because this year we're going to pre-record the pitches. So once you received your notification, then we're going to ask for you to meet with one of the staff members, either myself, Kaylee, or someone from the GradSlam committee, and you will record your pitch. This is going to happen the week of January 18th through the 22nd. And you'll have the option to either record it from your home, or if you don't have a comfortable recording space, we can provide a venue. We just have to coordinate in advance. After we record your pitch, those will be sent to the judges, and the judges will have a rubric where they will score based on presentation, based on the content, and from the top 10 scores, those are going to be the ones that move on to the UCI campus finals. And the notifications for the campus finals will be sent on January 29th. Please note that by submitting an application, you are agreeing to be available on the dates listed above. So we encourage you to submit early, and we'll be able to coordinate with you on your schedule. Is there anything else that you want to add to the UCI system semifinals?
Not necessarily. All I was going to say is, again, kind of in terms of being present, we do expect you to be present during January 18th through 22nd, but we could probably manage with that one. But you will need to, I guess I'm going to talk about this next in the finals, you will need to be physically present to appear somewhere to record your finals talk, which is the next section. So I guess I'll just go ahead into that. Do you mind just switching to the next slide, Annabelle, and we'll just do it that way?
Yeah, we can do that. Before we move on, are there any questions about eligibility, applications, or the UC semifinals? Okay, and if anything does come up, add them to the chat and I'll be moderating the chat.
All right, so the UC campus finals, you can go ahead and put the text on there. So again, we will have a virtual format. It will be Thursday, March 4th, 2021. This is going to be in the evening. We've chosen a Thursday because we do want to make sure that people are able to view this, and we thought that might be easier on a Thursday evening than a Friday evening. Finalists will need to be physically present because although we will be pre-recording their talks, judges will be judging live. So we will stream those pre-recorded talks to the judges and they will score on site at that time. You will be pre-recording with media services. And of course, you will receive your one-on-one public speaking coaching from Bree McWhorter. So if you have done any of her programs, Activate to Captivate, you probably already know that she is an excellent communications coach. So all of the people who advance will have the opportunity to meet with her one-on-one between February 1st and February 5th. And then filming will take place after that coaching during the month of February. As we're still kind of working through some of these details, they may want some of that filming to happen early in February or late in February. That has not been determined. But as soon as we have more information on that kind of thing, we will give you that information. So again, I do encourage you to submit an application because then you are going to be on any mailing list that we have to give additional information. And then next text. For the system-wide format, again, that is going to be held virtually, and it does sound like they will probably be pre-recording those as well and then have the same kind of live judging. Previously, we've sent our students physically to Oakland, at least, to do their talk. This year, obviously, that will not be possible. So I don't believe that they will send you up to Northern California. However, there will be an expectation that you're available. And depending on where we are with the COVID thing, they may have the finalists come up and respond in person and be judged in person. It's highly unlikely that this will be a large event with like an audience. However, there may be circumstances where just the competitors and the judges and only necessary administration are able to kind of put the event together and then stream it in some capacity. We will have more information about the campus finals in December. Actually, I was told during the week of Thanksgiving is when the system is supposed to give those details to me. And again, we will get that information out just as soon as we have it. What we do know is that it will take place in May, and there will be cash prizes. Those will be determined again very soon. You can imagine that they will be probably at least the same or better than what we offer here at UCI. Okay, so for those of you who are interested in preparing for Grad Slam, I'll just start out by telling you I did Grad Slam as a graduate student, and it was very challenging in a way that talking about my research at conferences, giving talks on other topics, I never faced that much difficulty. For me, this was a particularly difficult thing to do, but definitely worthwhile. So getting your talk down to 3 minutes, the biggest trick I would say is figuring out what's the appropriate amount of material to cover. You're not going to be able to cover your entire dissertation, of course. So that's where I see a lot of pitfalls with students trying to do too much. So in terms of visuals, you will have a PowerPoint. You don't have to have a PowerPoint. We do not accept Prezi presentations, so make sure that you are using PowerPoint. There's a maximum of 3 slides. So again, when you're choosing how much material you're going to be covering, it's got to fit on 3 slides. And of course, we all know that, you can put a lot of information on a slide, but that doesn't mean it's an effective slide. So make sure that you are, again, thinking about how much information do you want on each of these slides. Do you want to take off some of that text, for example? Students must create their own PowerPoint slides. Of course, you cannot use ones that maybe your advisor created for you for a conference or something along those lines. They need to be your own work. And slides can include visual elements created by someone other than student as long as it's credited. What I don't see on here, but I also know is the case, no animations are allowed for your slides. So if you have a video or an animation, that is not going to be acceptable. If you have kind of an issue with that, please feel free to reach out to us individually. Why we make that rule is that at the system-wide level, they do not allow animation or videos. And again, we will have more rules, so if that changes in the current and upcoming Grad Slam finals, we will let you know. But as of last year, that was something that was not allowed at the state level. In terms of timing, timing begins at the moment the student engages with the audience. So often what will happen is you're standing up there and we tell you we're ready, and then you just start talking, and the person who's timing will time at that time. Some people might also kind of start with a little nod, whatever works for you. But the point that I'm trying to establish is that we're not going to start timing and then you start talking when you're ready. We start timing when you start. Points will be deducted from the final score, beginning with 1 point at 3:03. So once you've gone 3 seconds over, we will be deducting a point, and 1 point being taken off for every 2 seconds after that. So if you are up at, 3 minutes and 5 seconds, then 2 points would be taken away from your score. And just another note, for collaborative research, the presenter's contribution to the project must be salient and clearly specified. So of course, collaborative work is great. I hope that you're all engaging in collaborative work, but we want to know what you've done, not what the project is about, not what your advisor is doing, not what your co-investigator is doing. We want to know what you're doing. So make sure that you keep it focused on that as much as possible. And we have a scorecard that we can take a look at. We'll be sharing it by email. Did you want to open that, Annabelle, and take a look at it, or go to the next slide? All right, here we go.
Yeah, we can take a look at it right now.
So if you have seen the scorecard in previous years, we actually aren't changing much, even though there is obviously a format change. One of the things that we have taken out is eye contact. Obviously, we are not expecting you to make eye contact with any of the judges because they will not be there. However, we still are expecting, the same kinds of things that make a good public speaking talk. We want to see them during this Grad Slam talk as well. So, clarity is important. Are you providing enough information? Are you selecting, again, an appropriate amount of information? Sometimes if you cram in too much stuff, your point becomes a lot less clear. So that clarity is obviously very important. The speech should be organized. It should be something that everyone in the audience can follow. Your delivery is very important. So pace, enthusiasm, confidence, body language, and vocal range. And of course, we are on a virtual format, so that changes things. I highly encourage you to think about what works in person. So like, for example, if you know that you speak really well standing, then that's maybe the way you want to do this for Grad Slam. However, if you're comfortable sitting, this may be an appropriate time to do that. We probably would not allow sitting when we're in an in-person version of this event. However, again, we are still looking for that like pace and clarity, and are you speaking in a way that's engaging to the audience? So definitely keep that in mind. We will be looking at the visuals. If you did not provide visuals, you won't be scored down upon because of that. But the expectation is if you didn't have visuals, then you shouldn't have needed visuals. So if a judge is sitting there being like, man, I could follow this talk if they gave me a visual, that's not going to reflect very well on you. So I encourage you to think about how are visuals going to be most effective for you. Of course, appropriateness of the topic. Was the topic appropriate? Did you communicate the significance? So what I'm constantly telling graduate students, and I don't mean this meanly, but it doesn't sound very nice, is why should I care about your research? That is such an important question to be able to answer just in all contexts, but especially in Grad Slam. And the other thing that I like to tell people is don't expect people to be like, oh, this is important. I can tell because they're talking about important things. You should tell the audience why it's important. Make it explicit. Don't let them kind of implicitly understand because they may miss what you're trying to get at. Intellectual significance, again, what is the significance in your field? What is the significance to academia generally? And then engagement. Are you engaging the audience? This again may be different on the digital format. It will kind of reflect closely with the delivery. Like, are you delivering an engaging talk? You know, with the virtual format, what we'll be looking for is like, are you giving a monotone, slow, boring talk? That would be bad. However, if you're giving a more animated, enthusiastic talk, that is definitely more engaging for the audience. So definitely keep that in mind as well. And so from here, we get a score, and those scores will determine first if you advance to semifinals, and then these to campus finals, and then at the campus finals level, the judges will be scoring and also discussing the results with themselves before they come up with a winner.